We want to keep the discussion going now and bring in former Virginia Congressman and technical advisor for the January 6th committee, Denver Riggleman, who says he no longer considers himself a Republican, I guess. Denver, thank you very much for being with us. And you said that the party left you some time ago. And I want to ask you about that in the context of these hearings, which really one of the main dramas is the drama of the Republican Party. In some ways, the question everybody has is, will these hearings impact Trump's vise-like grip on that party, or are Republicans now immune to all of this? What do you think?
Well, there's still a large percentage who think that those that, sieged the Capitol on January 6th are patriots, right, Terry? And I think the other thing about me, when I said the party left me, when I officiated the same-sex wedding back in 2019, I was attacked in the way that you see people being attacked today, being called awful things, death threats and things of that nature. So, I got involved with this way before the committee, so I, sort of grabbed a hold of this. And once I, as a senior tech advisor, once I saw the Meadows text messages and some of those referring to Clark, we're going to have some congressional issues also in this hearing, which I would love to talk about at some point. But once I saw the text messages and how these sort of conspiracy theories, this QAnon blanket or this conspiracy sticky bomb had infiltrated every level of the Republican Party, there has to come a time where you have to leave a party like that sort of embraced, these strategies and embraced these type of conspiracy theories. And, and watching what's happening today when you're talking about Clark, are you kidding me, right? Everything that they're talking about as a legal argument is based on really fantastical falsehoods. I've said before, Terry, these are people that believe that The Lord of the Rings is a documentary. And I think that's scary to have legal arguments based on that type of fantasy. And here we are today having people siege the Capitol on January 6th, the legal, legislative, and executive strategies that were put in place to overturn the election. This should be a scary time for the American public, and I hope they're watching these hearings.
I love how he just says that with a straight face.
That's a good line.
That is a very good line. We're going to remember that. All right, so you just mentioned specifically the evidence that you witnessed yourself, the Mark Meadows text messages, among other things, that clearly influenced your decision to leave the party. Why are others not leaving the party? I mean, we were talking about Bauer's testimony, and when he said he took an oath, he told the president he was not going to follow the big lie, that he was going to do his job, but at the same time, he would vote for Trump, versus Biden. Explain why there are not more Republicans like you and a Kinzinger and a Cheney saying, this is ridiculous. I mean, we're out.
Well, I think a lot of it, if you look at Liz, right, she had a career before politics. If you look at Adam, he's a lieutenant colonel in the Air Force. I wasn't in politics until I was 47, which goes to show how long my career was. But so when you look at this, we all have lives outside of politics, so we believe that our oath to the Constitution is most important. And I think that's what you see is that service above trying to get reelected. And if outrage and hyperbole through fundraising or mining BS actually get you elected, and those people choose to get elected over what's right for the general public, it's very difficult for me to square that circle. I don't quite understand, based on an oath, how you could follow this fantasy line, right, where you really are in the Wizard of Oz and you're running around and you're believing, right, that there's flying monkeys and that somehow you have to legislate around them. That is not something that we want to have in our republic. We have to have a facts-based a facts-based government, but we don't want to have policy discussions based on what Clark believed specifically, right, in a letter that he was going to send in late January to Georgia, or the draft letter saying that the election was fraudulent and they needed to throw the election to the General Assembly in Georgia so that it threw out the will of the voters based on stop the steal QAnon conspiracy theories that came from the troll farms on the internet. So are you kidding me? And that's the thing that's going on right now in these hearings. We're talking about the legal justifications, but let's just break it down. All the legal justifications that was used by the Trump team was based on complete fantasy. And that's the kind of thing that's really bothering me as we go forward, is that there's still tens of millions of people that are caught up in that junk, and we have to try to help them in some way, or at least highlight that there were people around President Trump who would rather win than tell the truth to the American public.
And why is that? I mean, when you know, we just mentioned the Speaker of the Arizona House, Rusty Bowers, and even though he received threats against his family, and Trump, he said, intimidated him, went after him, and he had to go up against them. We're looking here at pictures now from his testimony, and he still says that he would vote for Trump. Can you just give us a deeper dive, a deeper understanding of why Trump still, and Terry, we've talked about this, kind of has this spell. We talk about this Trump spell. Why is it still linger over these Republicans and the GOP?
It's like political herpes, you know, it's just a gift that keeps on giving. And, you know, I think part of it that, you know, when you look at, did I make somebody laugh? I'm sorry about that. When you look at this, I think tribes, power, right, and financial gain are really pushing these individuals to still stick to sort of the Trump train. And that's the issue that we have right now, is that if you're always looking about power and gain over our constitutional principles and institutions, we, as fact-based individuals, have to fight the facts-challenged individuals. So we have to make facts more exciting than fantasy. I've said this before. And looking at what the committee is doing right now through the first 4 hearings and going into the 5th hearing, they've been able to build a narrative on facts that's compelling to the American public. And I hope we can continue that, you know, that fact-telling down the line. But again, if you're watching these hearings, it's very difficult not to think that you had individuals that were just really in it for the financial gain, the power, and the grift, rather than what's best for the American people.
Wouldn't be the first time. And Denver Riggleman, we love when you bring the facts here. Thanks very much for being with us.
Please come back. We beg you to come back and put things in perspective.
I love.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.